Instagram. Here we are, another evening, another lovely evening together. Shout out to all the trick-or-treaters who will be headed out this evening, this weekend to pick up your bags of candy, etc., etc. What a time to be a young person. I remember fondly the days of trick-or-treating through the neighborhood and trunk or treat if people still do that. But let's get into this live broadcast, man. I don't like to waste time because I've been doing live broadcasts all week this week on Instagram here. That's on my phone, on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And this is the fifth consecutive live session that I've done at 8 or 8:30 tonight. And what I want to talk about tonight is sleep, right? So first of all, for those that don't know me, my name is Ren Jones. I'm a certified personal trainer, a certified corrective exercise specialist, certified nutrition coach, certified women's coaching specialist, and I have three different certifications in coaching women through the menopause spectrum. I work solely with a population of women over 30. It's who I specialize in as a coach. The only group or population of people that I work with. So all my study goes into that category. Before I get into tonight's subject, and we're going to talk deeply about sleep and how to get some and why it's important and what may be disrupting your sleep, because this is a conversation that we need to have. Before we get into the discussion, man, I got to pay the bills first. So it's currently enrollment week for me. What does that mean, Ren? That means this is the week out of the month that I enroll new clients, new clientele. So if you're a woman over 30 who wants to reclaim her body as her home, all the time I hear the phrase, I just don't feel at home in my body anymore. If you want to reclaim your home, your body, and do that without counting calories, without tracking macronutrients, without weighing or measuring your food, and without spending hours and hours in a gym setting. Nothing wrong with spending hours in the gym if you love it, but you don't have to do that for the purposes of this program. If that sounds like you and you want to get some things accomplished over the next 12 or 15 weeks, then DM me the word live, Live. We'll see if my programs may be a good fit for you, and we'll see how we can help you. Let me bring on the chat over here on Facebook, because I keep doing the chat late on Facebook, so I never see it. And then at the end, I see comments that people were making that I missed. And also, let me adjust this camera on Insta real quick because it was sort of tilting back. That's so much better. So much better. Tanisha Pate, what's up? So let's get into the quick and dirty about sleep, right? So first, I want to make the case for sleep, ladies, because I joke with my clients often about this, about the type of mentality that they have towards pretty much everything. And the running joke is, if there is a type B personality woman that exists on earth, I've never run into them in the course of my business, right? I've only ever, and maybe it's the nature of what I do because I work through the lens of, health, self-improvement. I've only ever seen a type A personality woman. Like, I don't know any women that's sort of really laid back, really chill, like to be quiet. Like I just don't run into that. So because of that, so many of the women that I work with and some of the women that interact with me in terms of what I do for a living, they sort of have a tendency to deprioritize sleep, or sleep just eludes them, and it has for a long time, and they wear it like a badge of honor. So I want to first make the case for sleep, why it's important, and then we'll talk about a few techniques that may help you get better quality sleep. But first, why is it important? Well, number one, there's almost nothing that you'll do physically in terms of exercise and wellness that will yield the type of results that you want in the absence of sleep. Like if your sleep's not jumping off like it should be, you're going to have a very difficult time getting any return on the investment of your exercise, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. We'll circle back around to that. Second, sleep is where your brain repairs itself, right? And ironically, melatonin, which we look at as the sleep hormone, melatonin is your body's most powerful, endogenously produced anti-cancer hormone, right? Endogenously produced just means your body makes it. So of the hormones that your body makes, melatonin is the best one in preventative care for possible risk of cancer. Next is just your brain's ability to recover. So you have a lymphatic system, and if you remember 8th grade biology, that's the system that takes the trash out of your body, right? You also have a glymphatic system, lymphatic with a G, same old G. That's funny. I never really thought about it in terms of G. You a G, homie. But you have a glymphatic system, and your glymphatic system, it takes the trash out of your brain, right? That's important. So it takes cells that have died off, cells that need to be trashed, that needs to be excreted from your brain, so you can turn over your brain cells, help you with short-term, help take short-term memory items and put them in long-term memory so you don't forget them. Those core memories, right? Because we don't want to forget Bing Bong, our imaginary friend. So you gotta keep those core memories intact. And sleep is the time in which that's produced. Another thing that happens during sleep is your body gets a nice little shot of glucose, sugar, glucose. And in the absence of getting that glucose during sleep, you may find that you crave it when you're sleepless the next day. You wake up craving the donuts, cookies, cakes, pop, things like that. Coffee with a lot of sugar. Well, I guess I said it right first. Sugar with a little coffee, right? So that's the next thing that happens during your sleep cycle. You are also lowering the heart rate, and your body's just generally in a reparative, restorative state. You can imagine the correlation between your exercise and your sleep as the correlation between mixing cake batter. I love cake, y'all. I can't wait to Thanksgiving because I'm going to get some red velvet cake and a couple of pies. I love cake. I got distracted. Bring me back. But the relationship of your exercise to your sleep is similar to mixing cake batter versus putting the cake batter in the oven to let it rise to a cake, right? So I think oftentimes we don't understand that correlation between your waking habits around nutrition and exercise and your resultants, the results of those habits during sleep, and even just simple rest and recovery. But it's important. So without sleep, long-term sleep deprivation, you are going to make horrible decisions about your nutrition from a biological standpoint, right? Your body is going to crave things to not die. You are going to find yourself in a state where your performance has slipped significantly in terms of your ability to get through your exercise routine, whatever that entails. You're also going to find that you have a predisposition to adding extra body fat, and in this case in particular, extra abdominal fat due to the lack of sleep, right? Because lacking sleep typically drives up your stress response, causes you to have a pronounced and consistent release of the hormone cortisol. Nothing wrong with cortisol. You're supposed to have it released when you're in fight or flight state or when you're first waking up. It's cortisol that wakes you up. But when it's pronounced and released continually, that's not normal, and your body doesn't like it. So hopefully there's a few examples of why you want to make a strong case for sleep. Let's talk about the sleep disruption, though. Generally speaking, there are all types of reasons why sleep may be disrupted. Obviously, stress can be a piece of it. The mind racing. There could be some very real biological issues, apnea, things of that nature. It could be that your habits are just horrible. You just don't have a good sleep ritual. It could be a depletion of magnesium. Magnesium depleted people often don't sleep that well. So all of these things can get tied into your sleep patterns. I want to talk about some sleep hygiene things that may help you get better quality sleep. And when I say sleep hygiene, that just means it's either a habit or it could be a supplement or a methodology that helps you sleep better. For medical sleep issues, you want to see an actual sleep specialist, somebody who's got a medical who's sort of board certified to deal with these things. So everything can't be solved through the lens of sleep hygiene, but I'm going to talk about some of the methods that you might use to get that done. So let's start with the simple ones first. And the simple ones are having a ritual, right? Mammals on this planet are tied to the sunrise and sunset of the day, right? We have that internal circadian rhythm. Certain points of the day, we're energetic, enthusiastic, and wide awake. Certain points of the day, we're a little bit more lethargic, we move a little bit less, and we feel tired, we feel sleepy, and that's normalized. So having a ritual that's more tied into your circadian rhythm can be really, really helpful in allowing you to get more sleep. We love habit, but not only do we love habit, our brain loves a habit, and it can set us up for the results that we want from whatever type of process we're going through. If we feed it the same ritualistic data over and over again, the same input over and over again. What do you mean by that, Ren? What are you saying? Stop talking in code talk. Talk English. I mean that if every evening at 8 o'clock you drank some chamomile tea, and every evening at 8:30 you took a hot shower, and every evening at 8:45 you did a 5 minutes of breath work. You looked up something on your phone, Googled it, YouTubed it, and it was just 5 minutes of breathing. And then at 9, I guess we're at 8:40 now, and at 8:40 you pulled back the covers on your bed, and at 8:45 you sprayed yourself with magnesium, or you put a little lavender oil mixed with the carrier oil, here and here, because the scent of lavender is good, and then you went to sleep. If you can promote and protect that ritual over and over and over again, you'll find that those acts start to signal to your body, hey, this is the time during the day when we slow down and we get good rest. So having a better ritual, aside from or in opposition to going to bed at wildly sporadic times, day or night, trying to do right before that homework from education or work from your place of employment, watching something that's maybe enjoyable but stressful on television right before you go to sleep, things of that nature. I find that we're not very ritualistic as humans around our sleep and sleep times, and that can be problematic. Alessandro, what's up, brother? And that can be problematic from day to day. So that's important. Can you develop some type of, and it doesn't have to be as extensive as what I said. I don't want you to be an Instagram influencer who paints their toenails with magnesium-laced nail polish and then, prays in six different directions, and then has to sacrifice a goat and all this. I'm not saying all that, right? Has hit a tiny gong and address Buddha. I'm not talking about that level of ritual, but I mean something that's normal. For you, it could be as simple as you turn off the TV, you turn off the lights, you go into a side room, not your bedroom, but you go into another room where you have a chair that you like, you sit and you read for 20 minutes, and then you go to bed. That type of ritual. It can be as simple as that, or as complex as you like for the amount of time that you have and whatever you're into. Let your sleep flag fly. Whatever you're into, do that. But that's the first thing that you can consider in repairing your sleep, is giving your body the ability to recognize what's about to happen and wind down and get ready and be prepared for sleep. So that's the first thing that I suggest. The second thing, and I talk about this with my clients often, as a matter of fact, I will often send this to them in the mail, is a magnesium supplement. Now you may be thinking, oh, a magnesium pill. I don't mean that at all. I mean a transdermal supplement. I have two different versions of magnesium spray. One is Moon Glow. Shout out to Moon Glow. I met their owner on Clubhouse in 2020. Lovely lady. They used to be called something else, but I can't remember. Oh, they used to be called Dope Minerals because they have CBD in most of their topical magnesium. And they produce like a little jar of cream. Most of them, I think all of them have CBD in them, which is amazing. No THC, so you're not going to get high unless you want to get high. I mean, do whatever you want to. I'm not here to judge you. But that's not the purpose of that cream. They have CBD and a lot of them have scents. I have the magnesium with the lavender scent, just an oil like a lotion, and I rub it on. I rub it here, I rub it there. The other great thing about magnesium, real quick sidebar, is that it's very helpful in relieving muscle tightness and soreness and muscle contractions. So you can rub it topically on areas where if you had a workout that day, you're feeling a little bit of soreness in your shoulders, you can rub your shoulders down or your arms or your chest or whatever you want to do. But that's one version of a magnesium topical supplement that I like. Another version is called EASE, EASE. It's by a company called Activation Products. I think you can probably find both on Amazon. EASE is a spray, so it comes in a spray bottle like the Hood used to have in the 80s when they had the Jerry Curl and the activator. Or if you've seen Coming to America's Soul Glow. Daryl, how things going at Soul Glow? We got some new home activator kits that's really taking off. In any case, but you can spray it on you topically. The reason I'm suggesting a topical magnesium is because your digestive tract doesn't have to process it. Now, I work with a lot of women that are they're in the phase of perimenopause to menopause to postmenopause. And in that phase, one thing I know is that because of the fact that there are estrogen receptors throughout the digestive tract and estrogen is withdrawing, they sometimes have new and unusual digestive issues with things that they could tolerate earlier in their lives. All of a sudden, something makes their stomach flip and dance a jig. So one thing about magnesium is that the body has a tendency to kick it out if there's too much. If you're old enough, I'm 49, rounding the corner to 50. If you're old enough to remember MOM, milk of magnesia, that was something that people used when they were constipated back in the 80s. And it was like, uh-oh, you better call mom. And they were like, Mom, yes, milk of magnesia. That's magnesium, and it gets the train moving through the tunnel faster, so to speak. You'll see a recipe for a laxative on the back of a pack of Epsom salt, right? Because Epsom salt is magnesium. Hello? Connecting the dots. Remember, if you're sore, you can take an Epsom salt bath, and I told you that magnesium helps with muscle soreness, cramps, tightness. So, but if you spray magnesium on, it's much more bioavailable transdermally through the skin, and you don't run the risk of it going through your digestive tract. Because if I'm not mistaken, if you're a nephrology patient, if you have kidney troubles, you're really not supposed to be ingesting a lot of magnesium. I think that's my understanding. In any case, you won't have to worry about that because I gave you two topical examples of magnesium. So you just rub that stuff on, man, and sail off to dreamland. So that's number 2. Number 3 is just the temperature of your room, right? Can you bring down the temperature of your room for something called thermoregulation? And that just means that your core temperature needs to drop to get great sleep. Typically, you're looking at 65 degrees Fahrenheit to about 67 or 68 degrees Fahrenheit is an appropriate room temperature to help you drift off to sleep. Now, for my population that I work with, women over 30, a lot of them are over 40, and they may be going through that perimenopausal phase where they're hot at night anyway, right? They're having hot flushes, night sweats. Reducing that room temperature overall can be a great asset here, because one of the things that's happening is you're having vasomotor disruption, and vasomotor disruption can cause disruption in your thermoregulation, hence hot flashes or flushes. Although some women have cold chills, cold flushes. That could happen too, the distant cousin of the hot flash. But in any case, lowering the room temperature in the room is a great asset in getting a better quality sleep and getting you into a deeper state of sleep than you normally get into. So bring the room temperature down. The next thing is how light or dark it is in your room, right? You want as close to total darkness as possible, because total darkness helps the melatonin secrete itself. I read Sean Stevenson's book, the Model Health Show. Shout out to Sean too. Another homie with the cap on, giving information. If anybody knows Sean Stevens, tell him I said what's up. But in his book Sleep Smarter, he cited a study where the sleep study involved them shining a pinpoint of light on the back of someone's leg in an otherwise dark room, and the fact that there are photoreceptors in the skin that can also feel and respond to light, and shining that little pin, that light pin, that little beam on the back of someone's leg while they're asleep in an otherwise dark room cause their cortisol levels to increase just enough to bring them near the point of waking. So not only, I know a lot of people wear masks, and that's a great option, but not only the light that gets into your eyes is important, it seems as if the light that gets on your body is equally important, which is freaky, man. Humans are some freaky deakies, right? So your body, your skin can also sense light. So it's important to keep that room dark. The next thing that I would consider for the women that I work with in the menopause spectrum is just to have a change of, if you wear pajamas or whatever you call pajamas, just have a change of that by your bedside, just so that if you find yourself in a cold sweat, as James Brown used to say, in a cold sweat. If you find yourself in a cold sweat, you can change your PJs or whatever, your nighties, your undies, whatever the do is that you do at night. Those things are good hygiene tips for sleep, but let's look at some movement things that might apply here and a few nutrition things. This may lean a little bit more into the women that are 40 plus in that spectrum from perimenopause to post, but I want to say it anyway. And number one is getting sunlight early in the day, right? If you can get sunlight earlier in the day, we know that it can reset your circadian rhythm, to allow yourself to be awake in the day and sleepy at night. A lot of the women that I work with, they end up with that flipped. So we talk about being tired and wired, right? So during the day, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, absolutely tired. During the night, fired up, like wired to the highest of wiredness. So flipping that back into a proper balance, one of the things that can help is early morning light, or light early in the day. And I don't mean come through the window. You got to get out into it. Separate yourself from the window, get out and let the light contact your skin. Another thing that they found at the University of, at Appalachian State University, that's here in my home state of North Carolina. Go App State, I think they're the Mountaineers. But one thing that they found in the study is that when people have movement earlier in the day, they had a tendency to get better quality deep sleep. And movement doesn't mean you gotta hit the Rocky montage, run out of your door and run to Philadelphia and run up the steps to the museum, Philadelphia Museum of Art, Modern Art. It just means you can get up and you could literally do 10 squats by your bedside and a 30-second plank and 10 wall push-ups. Just getting your body moving a little bit, getting the muscles activated, in addition to letting a little sunlight hit you. If you've got a dog, this is a perfect opportunity for that. But getting out and getting that done can also contribute to your deep sleep. A few other things involved with movement that are helpful, and that is strength training, right? And strength training seems to be like the cure-all, like it's the magic elixir that nobody knows about, right? So having a regular movement routine where you strength train during the course of the day and doing that regularly during the course of the week can help you get better quality sleep. Nutritionally, making sure that you eat throughout the course of the day, ladies. This is particularly important, and it may be something that you've never really heard before, but there's a term that we use called low energy availability. And low energy availability can lead to something called RED-S, and that's called relative energy deficiency in sport, RED-S. The backstory of RED-S is it's when It's when women athletes are not fueled enough for the activity that they're putting their body through. And it can cause things like amenorrhea, loss of your monthly cycle, and a host of other things, repetitive stress injuries, maybe tiny fractures in bone. But in any case, low energy availability is like it's like the baby brother or sister of relative energy deficiency in sport. And what happens effectively is, and I've seen this in my own practice, a lot of women will eat something during the first part of the day, or not actually. Maybe they'll fast and exercise and then eat. I do not advise fasting, but I've already had that discussion here on the internet. And then they'll eat something after they work out because they're hungry, obviously. And then for some reason, they go into this nutritional dead zone, man. And it's like 11 o'clock, nothing to eat. 12 o'clock, nothing to eat. 1 o'clock, coffee. 2 o'clock, nothing to eat. 3, and I know that sometimes you get busy with work and other responsibilities, and there's so many things that you need to do. And then they end up bookending their feeding, first part of the day, end of the day, nothing in between. And a few things happen because of the fact that the body hasn't been properly fueled all day. One thing that's really noticeable is agitation, right? More hangry, please. Right? The second thing that you notice is you may start to run the risk of minor nagging injuries, a strained this, a pulled that, a hairline fracture here, or there. That could be an indication of low energy availability, just being underfueled for the amount that you're driving the vehicle. But another thing that can happen is ravenous snacking after dinner, right? You eat early in the day, don't eat very much in the middle of the day. You eat dinner, and dinner makes you hungry. It's because you're hungry, sis. You didn't eat all day. You had your body thinking, and you had your body processing information and solving problems at work and putting up with that crazy, that crazy lady that you don't mess with. You had to deal with her, microaggressions, wage gap, right? And all that stuff you put your body through that day, and you just didn't feed it all day. So after you eat, then you really want to eat, right? And because of that, it may disrupt your sleep cycle, right? Not only might eating late disrupt your sleep cycle because your body's going to work on the food that you've just eaten, but also the lack of fuel throughout the day may cause you to hunger yourself awake at night. And I see this really, really often where women will tell me, aside from any perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms that keep you up, women will tell me, I just keep waking up every night at 1 or 2, or I keep waking up every night at 2 or 3. I keep waking up every night at 3 or 4, right? And what I say is, tell me about your eating today. What did you eat and when did you eat? Or better yet, if it's my client, I'll just say, hey, do me a favor. Let's work on a food diary for the next 3 days. I don't need you to be specific about don't tell me I had a cup of this and 6.5 ounces of that. If you ate a sandwich, just say, I ate a sandwich that had lettuce and tomato, and tell me what time you ate. And I get those back and I see this glaring hole in the middle of the day. And then I look at my logs for the exercise I assigned them for those days. And I'm like, okay, smashing exercise. I look back at the list of food log, and I'm looking where exercise happened, but no eating happened. And I'm like, okay, here's what I want you to try. Let's spread out your meals throughout the day 5 times. It's not real that eating more frequently boosts your metabolism, so that's not what I'm saying here. But let's spread your meals 5 times over the course of the day. Let's give it about a week and see what happens. And invariably they come back and say, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping so much better. Yeah, because you're not starving when you get into bed, or you haven't binged on something that's causing your body to prioritize digestion over sleep. I know we call the parasympathetic nervous system your rest and digest nervous system, but it's not an awesome multitasker, right? So we don't have to do both of those things at the same time every night, digest and simultaneously try to rest. So Those are exercise and nutritional things, movement and nutritional things that might help with sleep. Just to sum this all up one more time, remember, there is very little progress that you're ever going to make. Oh, one more thing, really quick, one more thing. There's no great intellect in sacrificing sleep for early morning exercise. Actually, it's batshit crazy. I want to be more harsh here, but I'm just not that type of person. And I wrote this a while back, and a few people have shared it since. If you want to get into the 5 a.m. club for exercise, you need receipts from the 8:30 or 9 p.m. sleep club. There's no way around it, right? And women tell me all the time, hey, that's the only time I have to work out. And I say, can you get to sleep earlier? Can you get a full night's sleep if you have to work out that time? And oftentimes what I do, two things that normally happen when I'm having this conversation with my clients. I don't have any energy, and if I don't work out early in the morning, I'm just not going to do it. Ren, I'd love to work out in the afternoon, but by the time I get home, I'm just so tired I can't do it. So there's actually 3 solutions that we typically find here. Number 1 is eating more, right? If they eat more, then they have more energy later on in the day. They're not conked out at 3 o'clock and just bone dead tired at 5. That's with a grain of salt, because part of what the perimenopause to menopause spectrum to postmenopause will do, it will rob you of your strength. They're just going to be days that you're biologically exhausted, and not in a way that sleep helps. But I get that. Most of the time, if you eat more over the course of more days and your body's properly fueled, you don't feel like a zombie at 4 o'clock. And I've had clients who can actually work out in the afternoon or evening. The second thing that may shift is the length of the workout, right? I've got a new client who told me, hey, I was working out for like an hour and 45 minutes. And I was just like, don't you have anything else that you can do? Right? So shortening the workout to make it more precise and fit better in the context of your life, that's also a thing. And then the third thing that I will often do is say, how was your Saturday and Sunday, right? Could you work out on a Saturday and a Sunday? Like, is that possible for you? Okay, let's dump that Monday because in contrast to what the popular meme says, you can miss all the Mondays you want. There's nothing magical about them. It's so interesting that diet culture will tell you on one hand, you don't need a Monday. You don't need a January 1st. All you need is any day, and you could always start your fitness. Like, we'll tell you that on one side of the coin, flip that coin, and we'll say, never miss a Monday. Like, bro, which one is it, Obama? Right? Like, what are you trying to say? So dumping out the Monday has been a godsend for some of my clients because Monday is the batshit craziest day they have every week. And they're trying to manage all these things and juggle all these things and all the stuff that they had to do on the weekend for work on Monday and all the projects the kid had to do to get to Monday and tournament. Like, and it's just a bad day. It's just a bad day. So take the Monday off. A lot of the times, one of the first things I have my clients do is just sleep in. Week 1, let's sleep in a few days. See what happens. Whatever sleep in represents to you. I know it doesn't mean you're in college and there's no classes that day and you sleep till 11. Sleep in may be 6:30 for you as opposed to 5:30, right? But please do not sacrifice your sleep for exercise and think you've earned a badge that shows that you are morally or psychologically or the superior. It's a bad move. It's a whack move. You're being whacked, son. Don't do that. There's not much that you can do in the gym that should be prioritized over the sleep. I don't mean become a lazy lima bean like they used to talk about on Living Color, but I do mean you've got the cart squarely before the horse there. if you're sacrificing sleep for exercise, no matter what some dude with a thick neck on steroids tells you on the internet, because he has 100,000 or 1 million followers. We don't talk about Bruno. That's just not something that we do. That's not allowable. That's not good science. It's not good coaching. It's not good anything. So in that case, I'll defer them to Saturday and Sunday. I'll give you a Saturday, Sunday workout. We can do it back to back. We will not cross over with muscle groups. We won't. Maybe we'll do an upper and lower split those 2 days. Who knows? I'll figure something out. And maybe we find one other day during the week when you can get to sleep earlier that allows you the right to get up earlier and move your body in that way. Maybe there's just one day that your spouse partner can get the kids into bed, or just one day that something's different in your household in whatever way that is, that allows you to get to bed earlier to allow you the right to get up at 4:30 or 4 or 5:30 and go exercise. But sacrificing your sleep for gym is, as my grandfather used to say, so I'm told, I never met him, he died before I was born, but it's just back asserts. So don't do back asserts things, right? That's all I got, man. Thank you for coming to the Quick and Dirty Live session. I'm going to pay the bills one more time because I'm currently enrolling 5 women over 30 who want to build their healthiest relationship with their body while building their healthiest body and building their healthiest relationship with food without doing any calorie counting, without doing any macronutrient counting, no algebra every time you get hungry, and without restricting any foods because your culture means something to you. I'd have to be generally an asshole to tell you can't eat the foods that you grew up eating. They are not demonic. They are not bad for you. We look at the habits, not the food selection. It's way more important. And the why behind your nutritional choices are also important. I'll be back tomorrow with another live broadcast, probably at 8 o'clock p.m. So I'll see you Saturday evening. Until next time, let's keep it simple. Facebook, YouTube, and others, thank you for your patronage.